Alright, cool. We'll be live in 5. Earlier when I was practicing, I got kind of scared because after I got the debug in prison, I landed back in bounds. Alright.
We are live.
Woohoo, we're live. Alrighty. Hello, everybody. My name is Crow3893. I will be running this game for you guys, but I'll let my commentators introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm Drunkle Titus.
Hey, I'm Jaxler.
Drunkle and I are a co-op duo who sort of originally started working on the New Game Plus co-op category. Crow is going to be showing off solo, so he's going to be doing all the crazy co-op stuff that we do, but as one person, so we'll talk about that a bit more. This game sucks. Hope you all enjoy it.
This game is incredible.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what this game is, this is a 3D co-op beat 'em up, and it released in the mid-2000s as like a licensed cash grab, because yes. But it revolves around 4 Nicktoons heroes: SpongeBob SquarePants, Timmy Turner, and Jimmy Neutron, and Danny Phantom, who you see right here. They're trying to stop the evil syndicate from destroying all 4 of their universes. And basically, we have to roam around and like stop all the villains because there's 4 of them who are coincidentally their rivals. Now, this category NG Plus is as normally a New Game Plus category where we start off like we get to replay the game with most abilities and things already unlocked. So it's a huge advantage for this game because this game requires us to get abilities throughout each of the levels. And normally in any percent we would have to collect them, but in New Game Plus, because we already have them unlocked, we don't have to worry about that. But we have them with the advantage of also them being fully upgraded, which is really useful for many segments in this run, especially for specific levels to beat them much quickly. But it's going to be very interesting. And as Jax mentioned earlier, this is essentially solo, so it's like a one-player mini-controller. So I'm playing on the GameCube version of this game, and because of this, I'm going to be playing with 2 GameCube controllers, each of them on both of my laps, and also like trying to alternate from one of them as quickly as I can because I'm going to be doing some co-op strategies, because trying to do it with AI really just does not work because the AI really hates you in this game. Alrighty, so here we go. So time starts when I select the first level right here, which is the Ghost-Zone Prison. Alrighty, here we go in 3, 2, 1, go!
Alright, good luck.
Much appreciated, guys. So right off the bat, we're going to be entering to Jimmy's lab, and we're going to be entering this portal that transports us into the Ghost Zone Prison. Now, there is one thing I want to mention real quick on why this run is going to be quite a while, and that has to do with the cutscenes.
Huh?
So, these well-made cutscenes are unskippable, and if you're curious how long they take about more than 10 minutes of this run, so feel free to enjoy this amazing dialogue and great animations.
I'm glad you could finally make it. I've been waiting.
Yeah, you got SpongeBob with the eyeliner job of the century.
Sorry we were late, but now the party started.
So somebody in chat actually asked if the GameCube version is significantly different from PS2. Crow, maybe you'd be able to explain some of the version differences real quick while we're just kind of vibing and looking at people's eyebrows?
Yeah, sure. So this game on GameCube has some frame rate issues, which is something you really do not want to deal with in any game. But we've been told or theorized that the PS2 version doesn't have issues at all, which is a bit of a strange one. It hasn't really been tested because many of the runs have been done on the GameCube version of this game, but so far that's the only main difference aside from loading times, but everything else pretty much plays the exact same thing. So if you're curious what the heck was going on with this cutscene, Vlad was pretty much telling us what the evil syndicate are doing, and then he stuns us, and now we're in the Ghost Zone Prison, who we meet up with Walker, who is basically the warden. And okay, I got lag, I pressed A too early. So right off the bat here, we're normally supposed to like venture out into the Ghost Zone Prison and roam out of here as quickly as we can, but I'm gonna go for a pretty cool trick. Jaxler, could you explain what I'm gonna be doing?
Yeah, so what he's doing is he's pulling out the bubble bomb and letting it explode in SpongeBob's hands. You normally have a different physical hitbox when you have an item in hand versus when you don't, and you interrupt switching back hitboxes when the bomb explodes in your hand. And so as a result, if you have this glitched hitbox standing next to a character, it can shove them away from you to resolve the collision difference, and a lot of times through walls. And so we have just clipped Jimmy Neutron and his soft serve hairdo out of bounds here. And so whenever you fall far enough out of bounds in pretty much any Nicktoons game, you'll be wrapped back up a certain height back into the air. It's kind of like a Paper Mario situation. And so now that we're out of bounds, we can essentially use this out of bounds movement to navigate to the end of the level. So this is one of the big reasons why New Game Plus is so fast. So the bubble bomb that we use to clip out of bounds is not unlocked until we get into SpongeBob's part of the campaign a fair bit. And then on top of that, we would also need to unlock a Danny ability in this level in order to not soft lock in future levels. So what he can do is just make use of like the really funky camera angles and sort of what the geometry is at to know exactly where he is, and just sort of hold specific angles on his left controller. It's worth noting as well that whenever he does one of these clips, he's also going to log the other player out of the game. We'll see this a bit later, but the camera, for now, the camera kind of splits perspective between whoever is playing the game. And if there's only one player playing the game, then it centers the camera on that player, so it becomes a lot easier to deal with. All right, so Crow's going for a swag strat called Sub-Boss Defeated Walker. So there's like two dev debug triggers, one for the end of the level and the other to trick the game into loading in like a glitched Walker fight. So Crow just wanted to show that one off for the swag.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, but it's also scary because if you actually wait a bit after you hit that debug, the game actually crashes. So that was kind of a bit scary, and that actually happened to me once when I was practicing. But it really doesn't have this issue on emulator, which is pretty strange. But it's basically like, I guess, a console exclusive thing, which is not good. Yeah, so we were able to finish that level way quicker than intended. Normally that level takes like 8 minutes glitchless or like casually wise, but in any percent we have to like roam to get an ability for Danny. But in New Game Plus, because we don't have that issue, we can just go out of bounds early and go to the end. And now we're in this next level, which is gonna end pretty quickly, so I suggest you don't blink. Drunko, can you explain what I'm gonna be doing?
We'll figure out a plan.
So we're gonna be doing a similar trick to what we did to get out of bounds there. Basically, the Fenton lab here is out of bounds in the general Amity Park area, except it exists at the very end of the level. So we're gonna clip Danny out of bounds here, and the house is right next to the end of the level, and he's just gonna fall into the trigger for it, and Amity Park's just done, just like that.
Just like that. You would kind of also do a trick, like some kind of like extended hitbox glitch for any percent to get both Jimmy's and Timmy's power-up abilities, because you have to get Timmy's, normally any percent requires a clip with it, but again, because I don't have to worry about that, it's all good with that. But it's just really funny that they put the very beginning of the level right next to the end. It's well made. Again, a well-made 2005 licensed SpongeBob game.
Oh, Crow, I think we need to adjust the volume on the game a little bit, just while we're in this cutscene.
Yeah.
Also, oh yeah, that's right. So feel free to enjoy this really excellent voice line.
That's why you're the boy genius. That's why.
It's so good.
It's just glitched, so it just flows fast. Alright, I'm gonna take over here real quick, because Crow's gonna be actually doing a really difficult sequence here. He's gonna set up a bomb before this cutscene plays so that the fuse starts ticking down. And then he's gonna clip Danny out of bounds here. So there is a ceiling to how much height you get whenever the level wraps you back into the air when you're out of bounds. And so because of that, we can only use out of bounds to go so far into this level. So right there, he specifically lands on a plane of geometry out of bounds, so that if he messes up here and hits a kill plane, it'll actually teleport him back there instead of inbounds. And so normally if you were doing like a world record attempt, you would just go for the Hail Mary, which is the end point of this out of bounds stretch. But Crow is actually going to be landing back in bounds and using a partner warp in order to get SpongeBob back inbound, so he can set another checkpoint for improved safety. Because if you hit a kill plane, it'll take you back to the last safe point you were at, and that can cause you to lose a lot of time. So this is kind of like a nice middle ground where between like safety and speed. So he gets Jimmy in there so he can get SpongeBob in. SpongeBob has this glitched hitbox from the bomb clip until the end of the level, so he doesn't need to set it up every time. SpongeBob will just always have this hitbox unless he picks up something else and puts it down. And so now what he's going to be looking for, you saw in the cutscene, there's all these generators that we have to break. He's going to be skipping one of them by hopefully landing Danny's head in a ceiling at the peak of an up warp, so that he clips inside of it and starts moving around.
Nice, no lag.
And then once he has this sort of positioning, he's going to try to do another partner warp to get Jimmy inbounds here. And so you're noticing he's pausing in a bunch of spots. That accomplishes two things. You mentioned he... oh, and he got it first try. Nice.
Gary.
Good save. Yeah, so...
The warp here is a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah,
there we go.
So he's gonna swap to Jimmy. He's gonna get Danny out of camera so that he can partner warp him through the floor, and that gets him back in bounds. And so he's gonna use the 3-hit punch combo that moves Danny forward a little bit every time he does it, which is the fastest form of lateral movement we have in this run. That was really well done.
And then, yeah, because you could actually wait for Danny to get back up. It's gonna be much slower because the more you walk around, like when you're underneath the flooring and like you continue moving around, the character will slowly rise back up. But the issue is that it's much slower. So it's just easier to do an ally warp instead, just to save like a little bit of time. Just because it can be inconsistent due to like the camera's position, where the players facing, and which specific spot they're in. Because apparently that's how like the game likes to tell like whether to spawn in certain characters or not. Is like whether the distance or of like the just like the distance of how far each of the characters are, as well as like from the camera specifically. Because that's also how the camera can also work. Is that it sometimes goes to one of the nearest enemies, which is why I mainly quit out from the second player when I do a clip, and just to be able so that way it won't be too much of a huge issue with trying to maneuver around. Earlier I mentioned how one of the biggest struggles in this game is also with the frame rate issues, which is mostly a GameCube issue as well. So especially with this part right here, it's not the stream that's actually dropping frames, it is literally this game that is dropping down, because this game really does not run at the proper 60 frames.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's also, because of that, there are a couple of strats that we'll see. We saw a little bit of it during that out of bounds, but we can do some pause strats as well as character player manipulation with the second controller to manipulate some of the lag and avoid some of those really bad plays. So he's gonna get the 3-piece here. So you have to like hit all of these towers before it like unfreezes. Otherwise, like you just take a boatload of damage and you're just like, why? So that's the one of the generators we actually have to do. We're gonna skip the last one. So I think this was something that I think me and Drunkle found this just by grabbing.
Yeah. Oh, the room loaded in this time.
Oh
nice.
Yeah. This game has a struggle in trying to look. We're not sure if this looks like a PS2 issue, but on GameCube, this game really struggles to load in like specific levels. Specifically this one. During our practice, this level had trouble loading in every single time.
Yeah, so he's gonna partner work Danny. He's gonna put him in the corner and then align SpongeBob so that Danny gets pushed at an up left into the stairs into the cutscene trigger. Nice.
Now that the ghost portal is out of the picture,
that's a.
Let's go find Vlad.
Wait, Crow says that's easy.
It's
slightly
really
disagree.
It's not. Jax and I have had a lot of struggles with it.
Only when you have to position SpongeBob, because like all you have to do with Danny is just hold up the entire time, because there's two, like the cutscene trigger really just extends that far, which is pretty weird. Because like normally like you're just like supposed to, like it's also like a bit out of bounds from that part as well. Because you're normally supposed to walk on those stairs in order for it to activate.
Vlad. You've lost your
now we're currently entering into Vlad's castle to meet up with Vlad after he decided to be a meanie and stun us and put us into the Ghost Zone prison.
With the help of the
so now we're actually going to fight him, but he's having a little bit of a dialogue.
And we've already
just a little bit.
Ghost energy for our device.
Voice lines are just really funny. Shout out to Martin Mull for the voice actor of Vlad for being able to just handle voicing him in this game.
All bow down to the.
He really steals the show. He really does.
It doesn't matter what your plan.
So as we're watching this fight is actually pretty tricky. In co-op, you have the advantage of having two people piloting characters, and so generally one person is tasked with doing a damage stun lock with Danny, and the other is helping to manipulate the boss patterns. Crow has to do both of those things on a single controller, and so he's going to tap the A button in a rhythm to do sort of this weird glitched punch animation, and then he's gonna hop out and grab this purple soup with Danny. That's actually, for one, gonna refill his like super meter so he can continue using his powers. But on top of that, it also manipulates Vlad to go into the bottom left corner of the arena so that he can smack him twice, which instantly cues the next phase. And so he's gonna do a rinse and repeat, so he does a punch, manages to skip that attack, overshadows Mr. Fenton again, and then he goes for the punches to disable the shield before he can take damage. This should be the 3 seconds.
There he goes.
Absolutely textbook.
Yeah, I've had runs where I've lost like the time due to 4 cycles, and it's if you're wondering like how long the cycles usually take for bosses, they take at most like 20 seconds or like 10 seconds, because in this game there's normally supposed to be like a combat section, but by hitting Vlad those 2 times after the manipulation, we're able to just interrupt that entirely, so that saves about like 10 seconds, but also like frame rate as well, because the game really just runs slower on it. So now we saved, basically saved Danny's parents, and we stopped Vlad, but he said like it's not over. It's far, far from over for the Evil Syndicate. But I mean, you never really know what could happen with that, I guess. Alrighty. So there we go. We're now going to be entering into the next place, which is going to be SpongeBob's World, which involves with 4 levels this time instead of the same 4 levels, just like with this one. And right off the bat, I actually waited a bit before I skipped that cutscene, because every time, if you were to skip that cutscene in this category at really fast compared to the other ones, it just crashes the game for no reason.
Yeah, one of the
very well-made game, by the way.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons everyone likes running New Game Plus, is because it's a level select. So if something like that happens in like a marathon setting, you just pick the level back up where you left off, and it's still a valid run, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, so now we're currently in Bikini Bottom, and we're meeting up with Sandy, and what we have to do is basically have to like make her a path so she can go forward. But these enemies can sometimes hit her, and when she does, she backs up, which not only like slows her down, gives her like a longer animation, but it's also because sometimes she'll do jumping jacks, which actually is much slower because it gives a bit of a delay for when she has to continue walking. And look at that, we opened the bridge for her. Let's see if we can go. Oh heck, the darn bridge has collapsed.
Yeah, so this level is actually like this is traditionally always it always probably will be the longest level, just because like it is a camera nightmare to try to operate it all out of bounds here. But there has been some really interesting sort of developments recently. So for example, that overshadow long jump right there.
Still mad about that.
I'm very mad about that one too.
I mean, you won't be mad about this cutscene skip.
Yeah, no, that was very solidly done. Yeah, so there's like a bunch of whenever Danny like does that like going ghost mode.
I'm just gonna. You can't land on the areas on the platforms before. You can just fall down and you just like flip through them, which is pretty funny when you're on higher places.
Yeah.
Again, a well-made licensed beat-em-up game released in 2005, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. This is a 2005 game.
Heck yeah.
Alpha Bikini Bottom came out before this.
Yeah, this game is, in my opinion, this one is the greatest game that has SpongeBob in it.
Wow,
that's a controversial opinion.
Yeah, so there's a lot of out-of-bounds stuff we're trying to mess with yet, but nothing's quite lined up. So we're going to be doing kind of the classic strat, which is a glitch called cheerleader jump. So he's going to be doing this with 2 controllers, one with Timmy and the other with Jimmy. He's going to have one controller just kind of holding in place with Timmy, and then he's going to quit out as Jimmy while he lands on top of on Timmy's head as the AI. This puts the AI into a state where it thinks it's stuck. So what it ends up doing is jumping to get itself unstuck, and then Crow retakes control of Jimmy mid-air, and it gives him like this boosted jump to get him up and over the ledge. So that was the second try on the second one. And he's going to quit out of Timmy to reduce lag, and he's going to use Jimmy's football helmet to get a little bit of extra movement. I thought you were gonna fall into the pit, and I was gonna laugh, but you managed to be a god, so you got it covered.
I can easily space it out. It's a bit tougher, kind of. It's normally easier with Danny's overshadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we meet up with Sandy again, and here's a quick little fun fact about this part of the level. So this section not only drops down the lowest frame rate at like 23 frames per second, this part is actually right behind where the beginning of the level is by going out of bounds, because a couple weeks ago I was trying to test it, look for an out of bounds for this level, and kind of found something, but I can't really replicate it anymore, which you can save a lot of time, because like these Sandy sections are just really long, as you can see right here, because we have to wait quite a bit for her, and I have to make sure that the characters, the AIs, are also not next to her, because she can also stop when they're also next to her, and it just really is kind of a bit of a struggle for them to cooperate. Oh look, another bridge.
I love how
leave our Ryan luck.
I love how she says that, like, before the bridge actually
collapses. A full second before the bridge collapses. It's so good.
She's clairvoyant, yeah.
Yeah, she can tell.
It's incredible.
So now we have to meet up with her, and she has to go another way. And I'm just gonna.
Oh, you can do that. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm still so mad about. There's a couple of things that Crow is.
Oh, nice.
There's a couple things Crow has found that has just made me upsetty spaghetti, and like, there's several of them are in this level, and mostly just because this level sucks.
Hey, man, save it for the next level, because there's gonna be one interesting thing I'm gonna do.
Yeah, that's true.
I know what you're gonna do, and I hate it.
Yeah. Okay, SpongeBob's kind of far away. Okay, there we go. Good SpongeBob spawn. He was a bit far away from the camera, so let's see. Okay, that did not happen. So, little guest appearance, if I can get it.
Noodle Bob is actually just one of the worst power-ups of all time. It just does not work.
That's like the only time you use it too.
Plus, you can actually cause the game to soft lock. Like, you can soft lock in this section because of its placement. It can mess up the robot from hitting the button or like dropping down the button entirely.
Oh, really? Wow.
Right here, we're currently looking for 5 or like 4. I think it's 4.
5 campers.
Oh, it's 5 campers. Okay, we're looking for 5 campers to bring back to the Krusty Krab, because they were all scattered at their plankton was being a meanie head and made them scatter all around. So we have to meet up with them and then report back with Sandy.
Yeah, so he did another partner warp right there with SpongeBob, so they just got him like out of harm's way. And he's gonna do a partner death warp. So when you like die, it kind of like centers the camera in on everybody, so it allows you to swap to any character. So you can swap to someone that's like in the direction you want to go, and just like leave Danny, for example, like off on his own, and then pull a partner warp to get him back with the rest of the party, so that you can start using his fast 3-hit combo movement. That 3-hit combo is actually part of the reason you don't fully upgrade Danny's like 3-hit combo, is because if you do, it ends up making his movement slower. So great game.
Great game. Again, a great game in 2005. Okay, so now we saved all of them, and we're in this giant long dialogue of Sandy explaining what's Plankton's scheme, because somehow she knows. Not really sure how. Maybe she's double-siding, like she's probably like double-crossing him right now. But in the meantime, we're just gonna have this giant dialogue with just her like explaining like what we're gonna have to do to progress onwards into the next level. One thing I should ask right now, like somebody mentioned earlier. Oh, so fun fact, that's the only that image of SpongeBob is the only time you ever see it in the entire cutscenes, and that's only on the GameCube version. But another thing I did want to ask was, I saw earlier that people were mentioning about like audio issues. Is the game audio still okay compared to?
I think it's still a little touch loud, so now would probably be a good time. I was gonna mention it, but yeah, if you could just turn down the volume on the game.
Yeah, sure thing.
I mean, this game is just loud. Like that, sometimes that will just happen, but.
Alright. Okay, that should be okay now.
Yeah, hopefully that's a bit better.
Yeah, because I'm just waiting for it. Okay, so this is the end of Bikini Bottom. Okay, I'm gonna get lag. I'm gonna play it safe and wait because my disc is just making noise.
Yeah.
Okay,
so like. This game murders Wii's. Like, it, like, messed up mine and my disc. Like, this game is just... It is self-destructive. Like, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, so here comes this level, and... okay, I'm gonna do this just for the heck of it.
I hate you. So he's going for the 80%.
Oh my god!
That was so fast. Oh.
Okay, so that ended up saving him time. So screw us, I guess. But so the big reason why everyone actually runs New Game Plus is that wall clip sucks, because you just have to wiggle 2 characters next to each other and hope the game gives up. The game gave us the goods extremely quickly there. But typically you can just use a bomb clip and just not have to bother with that nonsense. I'm upset.
Yeah, no, like Jack said, that one clip is literally the entire reason we came up with the New Game Plus category. It's so bad. It's so hard.
Yeah, but recently I have been trying to work with it to see if there's like a more semi-consistent way, and it's pretty strange because in that specific part of the gate, Danny can the character that is normally on the top, they'll move more like they'll like continuously like move like back and forth like they just drank a whole bottle of 5-hour energy, and basically like that's mostly when they're going towards down left, but when they're going more towards the left, they're actually going to be in an okay spot of just going straight. So maybe what happens is that like when the character is just continuously moving back and forth and it's more towards the left side, that probably what causes the clip, which is what I like. That's currently the theory right now, and I'm still trying to test it. But yeah, that's normally what's not supposed to be done in NG Plus, but in any percent, that's the main thing. And I just did it for the heck of it, but I can't believe I got it.
Yeah. So for context, for all the people who have no idea what the hell is going on, in this level there's a bunch of mini bosses, which are these like jellyfish vacuum contraptions.
Jellyfish harvesters, yeah.
Yeah, gonna hit a funny debug trigger right there. It's the puzzle, which also upsets me. Yeah,
but, so in the areas that was skipped with the out of bounds, and skipped the 2-minute cutscene where we met up with Patrick, but also having to defeat 5 jellyfish harvesters, which are a pain to deal with and are just very slow. So it saves quite a lot of time, and now we get to go over here with the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one, and kind of where we see some movement differences between a co-op and a solo run, because with co-op you have a second player, and generally the more enemies that there are on screen doing things, the more lag there is. So generally in co-op what you end up doing here is, obviously one on Danny so that he can hit the ghosts, and you typically have another player on Jimmy that sporadically enters and exits game to use the flare gun to stun all the enemies so that they can't use their projectiles and cause a bunch more lag. So Crow, as a single player, is just going to do this as Danny and just sort of murder all the ghosts in turn. Even though that one looks slightly alive. Is it even dead?
It's not dead.
Oh, it's not? Yeah, okay, I thought it was. I guess it... Oh, wait, no, yeah, it did. There we go. It went away.
This game sucks. Okay, anyway, so this is a strat that I found. This is like my one thing, is I figured out that you could skip this awful SpongeBob suction puzzle.
Too low.
It's pretty...
It's tough. Anytime you can skip SpongeBob's suction ability, it's a good thing though, because it takes forever for him to suck up the water, and then he moves incredibly slow once he finishes.
Yeah,
nice. That's probably still worth it. That's probably still worth it.
Yeah, that trick's a little bit difficult to get because there's like there's an invisible wall around it, like much bigger than the model looks, which is what I was mostly rubbing up against. And then like you can't be like too low, because sometimes you can be a bit lower from like from where the end of the level from the end of the platform is at. So it's just making sure to just get the right timing for both those instances. Again, another issue with this game.
Oh, you push him? I thought you were gonna push him off the edge into the drain.
I wanted to, just because like if he actually falls off, it's an immediate death, which is just very funny because he just falls into the void of the stinky gas. And then this one's gonna disappear after a little bit. Wait for it. Actually, yeah, let's just wait for it.
What do you think happens here?
Oh, okay, I guess I didn't hit it one more time. Oh wait, there we go. Wait, there we go. Okay, what is up with the animations right now?
What?
This game
sucks.
This is the worst.
Friendly reminder,
I'm getting mad.
This is Nicktoons Unite, released in 2005 for the Nintendo GameCube and PlayStation 2, a well-made beat-em-up.
I get mad whenever I see some stuff in this game happen.
And yeah, and also shoutouts to the Flying Dutchman for being able to just go through the flower clouds and also just being able to clip into the void.
Into the skybox! Alright, now we're coming into Jellyfish Factory, which I feel like in every, besides Glitchless, like every category is pretty neat. Just because it's really tough. Yeah, Glitchless, any percent has some interesting strats here, but it's not as cool. New Game Plus, this level is sick because this is normally the level where you pick up the bubble bomb for the first time. So you get to do a little bit of bubble bomb clipping in any percent, but we have to do a really tricky out of bounds strat where it's very much a fundamentals check of understanding how out of bounds camera movement works, which it doesn't, but getting it to wrangle. Plus the initial clip out of bounds is pretty tricky too, and there's a couple of different points of failure that can occur with this strat. So gonna do another one. Getting this clip again, like I said, a little bit tricky. You have to get like the perfect angle with SpongeBob so that it pushes Danny through the wall. Second try clip's very solid. Gonna swat SpongeBob out immediately, and he's gonna do a couple of wraps and then eventually a pause in order to flip the camera around.
All right, and then I think from here. Okay, yeah. Oh wait. Okay, I think I did it wrong. Oh wait, no, this is okay. It's all right.
You know where you are, yeah.
Yep. Okay, yeah. So I went back in bounds. Oh.
Wait, what? You landed on a plane, but you're still out of bounds
somehow. That has
usually that puts you in bounds. Okay, nice.
That happened. Okay.
Really cool game, by the way.
Only in a marathon. Only in a marathon. Just gonna say that.
So you're trying to avoid that plane because it's a very easy way to land inbounds. Another pause right there to move the camera.
That wasn't it. Unfortunately, I wasn't too close. This one should be it. There we go.
There you go. Yeah. So now that Crow has the camera lined up, he's gonna head like northeast around this big like foggy room. Like it is just, I guess this is a dry ice factory. And so he has to go around and sort of around the back left. He's going to take it, like, you want to take it tight because it's faster, but you don't want to be too close because you can either hit a kill plane or land inside, and that's really bad too.
Yeah, I had it once where I landed back in bounds twice, and that was really unfortunate because there's like this is the one area where kill planes are out of bounds, and then I'm going to try and see if I can land in bounds at the end of the level because the end of the level is literally right here. Let's see if I can do it.
Oh, nice.
Baby, hold on. That's so hard.
Yeah,
that is so hard.
That is really difficult. What?
Nice. Good.
That was an incredible out of bounds.
Outside of like you doing random meme strats, like this run's been really good.
What the heck is going on with this run? I don't like this. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so now we're in the second boss, which is Plankton in the top of the chump bucket with Mr. Krabs as he's trying to take his money because he super glues him to his pants.
Honestly, that's completely in line for Mr. Krabs.
This Plankton model, I also just have to say, is horrifying. Like, just look how, like he's wide at, like, the middle of his head area and then narrows instead of just being, like, bean-shaped. I don't know. It just doesn't look like... And he's also floating off the ground because they didn't, like, properly set...
Yeah, friendly reminder, Plankton's name is Sheldon.
Sheldon J.
Sheldon J.
All right. Welcome to Plankton. This fight used to suck really bad. Now it sucks less because Crow figured out how to make it suck less.
Actually, yeah, Crow... this was found by another runner. So shoutouts to True or Nico07. So they were able to find a strategy where the bubble bomb is actually going to become in more use with other strategies other than being able to do displacement clips. So with this instance, going to purposely let Plankton attack because his hitbox is just randomly messed up in this part, but somehow after charging it, it's all set. And then right here, it's gonna let him fall. I'm gonna charge up a bubble bomb and then position myself at a specific spot. And by doing this, I can spam the heck out of my bubble bombs, which deal actually the most damage out of all the abilities we have. This deals the most damage, which is very useful for this fight because beforehand, this fight used to take like 5 cycles at most to beat it much quickly, but now it only takes 3 cycles, just like with Vlad's. But it has to require some specific timing as well as making sure that other attacks don't interrupt the bubble bomb's hit because it will deal less damage. So I'm gonna try again right here. So again, you can just position SpongeBob in front, and then immediately it's gonna hit, and
that's a lot of damage.
Also, here comes the best voice line in the entire game.
I need power!
That's the only time. That's one of the few instances SpongeBob screams in this game is just because of power.
Even when he's like dying and he's running out of health, he'll just like meekly say, a little help here, guys. But when he's running out of his special, he's like, I need power! And he's just screaming it.
He just needs that power. He needs it to
He really does.
Yeah, like he needs to help us be able to clip. So right here, Plankton is currently going to be doing, he's going to like fall down 5 times to shoot out some lasers, and I'm going to try and manipulate it to see if I can get him to land right here on this 5th one. This is probably the 4th one, so if I'm lucky, this might be it. Okay, it wasn't it, unfortunately. So, but that only saves like 2 seconds, which isn't really much of a deal breaker. And I'm going to spawn in Timmy, and if I'm good enough, I might be able to... There we go.
Yes, the 3-cycle, yeah.
3-cycle.
Very nice.
So he has the second upgrade there on Timmy's like beginner attack, Starflinger, which really helps with the damage output there as well. That's something we didn't do because we didn't know any better.
Yeah, but it's been more of a scary one because sometimes if you like it's random, like if you're able to space it out, the Starflinger's hit will actually like hit Plankton first before the bubble bomb, because there's a bit of a delay before the next attack damage deals to Plankton. So that's more of a bit of a riskier way to do it, but because Plankton had a bit too much of a too much more health than he was supposed to, I had to just risk it, and thankfully it worked. So then Patrick just came down, falling into the glass, and then landing on Plankton, and is saying how he needs to take a shower right now. And then he's gonna go away and then say that nothing can stop the Syndicate. Also, if you're wondering where Patrick fell from, he came from up there.
Up there.
Up there.
I also love how everyone in the chat has just understood the eldritch horror that is 3D Timmy.
Oh my gosh, 3D Timmy. I'm more disappointed that this model is not as good as like the ones from Breaking the Rules and Shadow Showdown, because that model of 3D Timmy actually looks better, in my opinion. Alright, now into the next section, which is Timmy's world, and we're going to be entering to Crocker's Fortress, and this level in this category is his, yep, it's something.
It's rough. This is probably the hardest out of bounds, and well, one of the hardest out of bounds in the game. At least in any percent, this is the hardest out of bounds.
No, the hardest clip is the one in Bikini Bottom. That's nice.
Well, yeah. I'm talking straight up out of bounds.
Movement. Yeah, you're right.
I'm talking movement.
Yeah.
The clip for this one is actually really easy. It's kind of free. But once you get Timmy out of bounds, that's where your hell begins. On top of that, in any percent, you'd have to grab Helmet Dash for Jimmy here, which you would use for exactly one thing in the final boss, but we can skip that, so that's cool. I think this is actually another spot where you'd probably use like a cheerleader jump or something like that to get there a little bit faster.
I gotta do this real quick. I gotta switch controllers because my player 2 controller has issues when I try going out of bounds with it, so I usually do this one with my first player with my first player controller. Nice, that was a good clip.
Yeah, he sets up the explosion in such a way where the SpongeBob gets knocked backwards whichever way he's facing, so he turns SpongeBob 180 degrees in the opposite direction of where he wants to go, and then like as he gets knocked back, it also just happens to set up Timmy for the clip. So what he's trying to do right now, this level is broken up into 2 sections. There's like the main part of the level that's kind of like the beat 'em up bit, and like a 5 branching path section. And this out of bounds is trying to take us straight to the 5 branching path segments. There's a couple of different setups and a couple of different approaches that you can take to get this trick to work. So the one that Crow typically goes for is a way to land inbounds right before a cutscene trigger that will sort of allow us to go straight into the next section. The other setups, you can land in the cutscene trigger from out of bounds, or you can land inbounds in the branching paths area a bit further past. That's the one that I do, but it's extremely risky and really not worth it. It doesn't save all that much time.
That's not it.
So he's looking for a specific pause right here so that he can set up his camera in a specific way. And then once he gets to the right spot, he has to line himself up and time his falls and re-wraps back to the sky in such a way as to get in bounds before kill planes will nab him. So
yeah, and
it's got a little bit more movement to do.
In the meantime, while you guys are seeing this out of bounds, you get to enjoy some wonderful classic orchestral music.
It's such a banger.
Yeah, shoutouts to Melbourne Symphony for making the music. Alright, here it comes right here. Gonna be very careful. Let's go.
Nice. Lands in
Very
bounds.
nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
those little the little parts right there in between like where I landed, those are actually some kill planes, and there is an invisible wall when out of bounds, and if you go too close to it, it will just immediately push you towards the kill plane on the right side, which will immediately put me back to the very beginning, losing like almost a minute and a half up to 2 minutes. So that's why I do this strategy, is because it's it's like the safest way to land back in bounds. And now
I had a mega brained idea for. I wonder if you can clip through the Crocker skull there with a displacement clip. I don't know if you've tried that.
Oh yeah, it is. It's just much difficult because you have to do a character depth warp and
oh, so it's just bad. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
The only run I've ever seen that has that is the former any percent run done by Chiringu, but it requires a depth warp, but it actually skips that cutscene. But I don't really let it go for it because it's really difficult, because Danny is somewhat like the character that gets clipped in is a little bit in the on the flooring, so that's what makes it a bit tough.
Yeah, I mean, there's also another strategy that Jaxler and I theorize. Well, not really theorize. You can, it's way harder, but you can clip into this big room without having to watch the cutscene, and then you just have to come talk to Cosmo, and then you can do the rest of it as a normal. It's faster, but it's much harder.
And so we've also talked about maybe like using out of bounds navigations to get between. So like the 5 pads are kind of like spread out in a fan shape. And so we thought that it might be worthwhile to try like out of bounds movement to get between all of them. But we can use something Danny here called another, yeah, great Danny spawn with a.
It's gonna be chilling in the water.
Yeah. Lag management's a really big thing here, especially when you're doing co-op. It can be really nice to.
Oh, that's a good SpongeBob spawn. That is really good. He was right behind me.
He's gonna again. Whenever SpongeBob sets up the displacement glitch, he's going to have it until the level ends. So he's gonna clip Danny right through here, cut out a SpongeBob, and he's trying to make sure that he doesn't fall back in bounds right away and just get straight to the button.
Well, I'm gonna play it safe right here because right here is also a spot where the players can spawn in. Yep.
Yeah, so he's gonna grab SpongeBob,
and just because the camera is a bit more easier to look through.
The real nice thing about this part is that so he's going to do a pause right here, right at the top, so you can actually see as he's landing. Because it's actually really easy to over or undershoot that ledge right there. But the nice thing about this section is that you can just walk right out, because you can go over the top of all the puzzles you skip. All of these different like sections have like different puzzles that like you are expected to have a different character's abilities used to solve. Good warp.
Definitely. Nice. Okay, and then Jimmy just teleported to the other side, same with SpongeBob, because they're just programmed like that.
Yep. And
also,
so,
every time you hit one of these ground pound pads and you come back to the main room, there's more of those little minion dudes who spawn, and that can like annihilate your game with lag.
Yeah, that's part of the reason we tried theorizing going between the different wings out of bounds, so that we would only get the lag all at once, as opposed to multiple times throughout different visits. But
oh, made it.
Nice. That's a hard cycle to make. So you have full invincibility when you're in Overshadow. So you can use that to just walk through the crushers. It's great.
Very great. And thankfully, enemies as well can't hit you, so it's really useful. And for this instance, it is. So normally, like after you slam down these buttons, you would regularly have to. Oh wow, that was a good Danny spawn. Okay. I don't know what is up with that so far right here. But
it's too good.
It's too good. It's just the marathon luck. I don't know. But then again, I probably am jinxing it right now. But it's Nicktoons Unite, so then again, that's probably also why.
Nicktoons Unite for the Nintendo GameCube.
And then right here, we can surprisingly just clip through this gate. We can't.
It's so easy.
Yeah, like unlike the other ones in the second room that I was in, you can't clip through those ones because those models are actually a little bit more bigger than this one. And I'm purposely keeping SpongeBob still on, so I'm not quitting out my second controller. I'm actually gonna quit out my first player controller, with Danny, because if I were to quit out, SpongeBob will be far, and if I tried to switch, it would actually cause them to spawn in, which will basically make me soft locked.
Well, you could clip out with.
Oh yeah, true. It's just much slower.
It's a lot slower, obviously. So.
And then I'm gonna collect some don't think I have. I don't think I probably have enough purple for Jimmy for this segment. I think I should. Let's just hope he doesn't spawn next.
Yeah.
Okay, he's all right.
He spawned, but the AI.
I was hoping he was gonna be far away from the camera so he can be closer to Danny.
So Jimmy's fastest form of movement is that like quarterback gear, but it takes so much energy because you know Jimmy's a nerd. So
he's a huge dork.
He's a 5-head.
Dorks. Yeah, he's a 5-head. He's self-serve chocolate ice cream. He's a lot of none of which are very helpful.
True. This is now the bully Jimmy Neutron show.
Gosh.
He earned it.
He did.
Him and his sodium chloride nonsense.
No wonder he's called Nerdtron.
And Nerdtron.
Yeah, you're gonna do another partner death warp right there.
Yeah,
Talk to Cosmo, and that's gonna be the end of the level.
Woohoo!
Really well executed, yeah.
Yeah, not bad. I don't think I had that many mess ups here besides like trying to alternate the characters at the beginning before doing it out of bounds because of the weird issue I have with my controllers. But yeah, that was not a bad segment because like this segment for NG Plus normally takes like 9.5 minutes, mostly because this cutscene takes like 30 seconds. So this is probably also going to be like a 9.5 minute segment as well, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at
we get a little bit of a break going into the next level, which is nice.
Actually, wait, this might be on tie with my gold. I think I don't know. I'll have to retime this because I'm not comparing against PB right now.
29.
Oh wow, because normally I get like a 30 to 35, but I think my lowest is like a 23. But I have to look back at it all. But that is pretty good.
Yeah, and some of that's RNG a little bit as well, whether or not you get good spawns. So, yeah, now we're in Fairy World. So this is like you're supposed to get 2 abilities here. One's Ghostly Whale, which again we already have because it's New Game Plus. But you're also supposed to like get the group heal ability for Timmy, which is just useless. And on top of that, you're supposed to save all of these like really depressed looking fairies. I'm just gonna say it. They're really dopey.
Yeah.
They look really sad.
You'll see. Talking about when you look at the top right after this cutscene is finished and Jorgen's dialogue is given to us, you'll see why Jax is basically saying they're like that.
It's so funny.
I mean,
but you're supposed to save all of them.
They're not as depressing as the ones in Haunted Amity Park.
They're up there, they're up there on the totem pole.
Well, the ones in Haunted Amity Park are haunted. Oh yeah, that guy, he's seen some stuff.
He has seen the seams of the universe.
Thank you, children. Free at last.
Yeah.
How would you guys feel if I told you that the same so if you ever like heard the voice lines of those fairies, how would you feel if I told you that the same voice actor of them was actually Walker's voice actor?
I hate it.
Yeah, so this is actually where we're going to see another example of the cheerleader jump. This one's really easy to set up because you just throw Jimmy right into the corner and you get it pretty much every time.
There we go.
It's a pretty tight.
So that's about 80% of the level skipped right there.
Yeah, it saves like 2 minutes from like having to save all the 7 fairies that were needed, and a little cool thing right here.
Yeah, this is a movement fundies level, which is interesting because a lot of time there's like out of bounds movement fundies, but this just has a lot of cool parkour strats to it for no good reason. So
yeah, this level rocks. It's really cool.
This is like the bubblegum level, just because of how big it is. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Also, swag strat.
Swag strat for the people.
Let's go.
Nice. That's also one of the things that I take credit for because
I love jumping on clouds.
It's so fun.
It's really great.
This is like a really annoying puzzle segment that you can just skip for free, just like that.
Yeah, yet another SpongeBob full soak walk cycle, as someone said in the chat, completely skipped. And you were right, person who said that. It is very distressing, just watching him walk.
I call it the Niagara Falls. It's the Niagara Falls walk, It's just like...
And then, okay, so we had to after dealing with these enemies and their projectiles because they really hate us. I'm just gonna do a ghost jump over here. You normally can like shoot, you can normally like bring that crystal wall down with a ghostly whale, but I didn't really want to because it's a bit slower, and just because for the heck of it, I really just wanted to do it. I just wanted to ghost jump over it. But the second one, we had to do a ghostly whale, and I had to break down this wall with this.
Oh, you're getting body blocked. Wait.
Oh my gosh! Please.
It'll still play pretty
Oh,
well.
works.
Gosh,
Nice.
it still worked. And frame rate as well.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Really just...
So now we just punch our way up to here, and we're going into probably my... Okay, so we've been dogging on this game, right? And for good reason, right? This game sucks. But
Oh, yeah.
Really
this
not
fight... This fight's pretty rough, casually. In the speedrun, this fight is so sick. It's
incredible.
so cool. This is like one of my favorite parts of the speedrun. Because the way... Yeah, the way that this fight works is similar to those generators back in, like, Vlad's section, where you need to, well, in this case, we need to stun the boss, and then we need to freeze each of these electrical pillars and then break them with Timmy. And so, the issue, though, is that, in co-op, it's a lot easier to do that, because you have one person running around with the freeze glove and another going around behind Timmy, breaking them all. Crow is just a single human being. So that makes doing this in a one cycle extremely difficult. So what he's going to end up doing is he's going to set it up so that SpongeBob like absolutely destroys Crocker with the water bombs or the bubble bombs. And then we're just, it's really tight. Crow has hit it once, RTA. Let's see if we get this.
All right, I'm going to be a little bit careful with this. So I'm going to have SpongeBob as one controller, as one player, and then I'll see if I can get the one cycle. I only got it once, which is very hard to get it solo wise.
Yeah, getting this strat solo is ridiculous.
All right, here it comes. If I can pick it up. If Crocker can just not be a meanie.
Yeah, so he swaps out. There's generator 1. Generator 2 has to do very quick inputs here. Come on.
Darn it, I was close.
Oh, almost got it.
Almost there. That would save almost 35 seconds because of this long combat that takes quite a bit. But this is actually going to be an okay time because I actually need to collect some more purple, like some more purple energy for SpongeBob's power because he has half. But because there's 3 phases for this fight, and this is just at least an okay time to be filled up for phase 2 and phase 3 because phase 3 is going to be using it again as well.
Yeah,
right.
That strat is easier, but because the setup's way better for like this phase is actually the easiest because I mean just look how close together all the generators are.
Yeah, this is a free one cycle.
Okay, that should be it. I also have to be very careful not to get too close to the generators because if I do, Timmy's freeze glove ability will not actually make contact with the generator, which is pretty dumb. But like when he's at a specific distance, it'll actually work and very useful. And then right here, I'm gonna try and set up a position, but I have to be very quick because if I don't, Crocker's gonna go back into a fight phase over here. All right.
Yeah, so right here, he's going to switch to Timmy freeze, quit out of Timmy, partner warp him over here so that he can get to this one up in the top left corner. He has to do it left side into right side so that he can get Timmy off camera so he can successfully get the partner warp. This is only able to be done in a 2 cycle. So he also has to be very careful. There's a bunch of moves that Crocker can do here that are really, really bad. So he's going to get Timmy out of the way so they'll never get bothered by it. And then he's using the Z button shield with
it's an invincibility that's in the middle of the level that I just used because Crocker throws out a projectile that turns us into those little gremlins as you see right there, which is this part. But
that's really bad.
I can actually prevent it from hitting me because in order to like cause it to not happen, you would have to fall. And then that'll be it, but...
A bit of a rough partner warp, unfortunately, but it should still be on pace for this cycle.
I hope so. Oh, no.
Oh,
dang it. Well...
Yeah, that's... So we're gonna have a 3 cycle here, that's fine.
Yeah, it loses like 3
sucks.
That's okay. Yeah, I was too far from the ledge, unfortunately, so we're gonna be put back in another combat section. I'm not gonna quit out of Timmy, and then I just get pushed purposely because Crocker is also a meanie like the other bosses. And just gonna...
we gotta keep in mind that he's playing this game like 2 controllers at once, so the fact that he's like doing this well at all is kind of incredible.
it was tough. Oh gosh dang, I turned into a gremlin. I gotta fall. Okay, there we go.
Oh, that fixes it?
Yeah, that fixes it.
What?
I'm pissed.
I'm so mad.
Okay, there we go.
There's the fight.
Alright, there we go.
Yay.
I love how he just is rotating in the cutscene and he stops.
And, like his voice line's still like stored in with it. Oh no! I'm spinning all around. The Doomsday Machine is fully charged. You don't have a chance. And he just flies away.
Yeah, did I mention that this game sucks?
Let's see. How long ago did you ever say that?
Last level. It's quite not.
Yeah, that was too long. Yeah, that took quite a while.
I will say, despite this game just objectively not being great, it is very fun. In all the wrong ways. So if you're ever just looking for a good time, just with a bunch of friends, we did that. So Drunkle and I are part of have been part of a group called Speedruns Rochester, and we did a 4-player co-op playthrough in person on GameCube, and it was a lag fiesta, but it was
an experience.
It was some of the best 4 hours of our lives. That
was probably my favorite gaming experience ever. It was incredible.
So bad.
Like, if you've never played this before, playing through it casually with a bunch of friends is incredibly fun.
Meanwhile, I'm just here, just like hearing all of this because I only started writing just because of these guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we apologize for that.
As you'll see after this run, Crow is like really good at a lot of the Nicktoons games, and just was like, okay, I guess I have to try to Unite now. And it also got really good.
This was the last
Unite.
game because like I tried learning this at first in 2021, and I couldn't continue after the first 2 levels. Then I just said, screw it, I'm not gonna run this yet. But then I decided to get it. I decided to try it out again, and in less than like a couple months, I got used to the game surprisingly. And then I started doing runs, and here I am now.
This is probably one of like the most fun levels from the co-op aspect, I think. So what he's gonna do is put Timmy in a position where he is busy and occupied while picking up one of those screws, or one of those bolts. I don't know what they're called.
I think they're just nuts.
They're nuts. They're nuts. That's right. And so what he can do is. Timmy's AI is programmed to throw those things if he's not in an animation once he has made an AI character. But if you have him doing something such as picking up the thing or even in the middle of his walking animation, it interrupts that process and allows you to take these nuts to places where they're not supposed to go. And so that's going to let us skip like multiple portions of like these puzzles. We're going to do an overshadow long jump. This one is pretty tricky.
Okay, there we go.
Nice.
I was going more towards the like upwards because the model on top, like upwards, like it's more messed up than like towards the side. But I just try to go for it just to, like get some minimal movement. And then right here, gonna bring back Timmy and pick up another bolt or another one, and then
this one's just funny. You just throw. You're supposed to break that open with bubble bomb.
You can
just put it down.
You can drop them, which is really useful for this part right here. And then it saves us also having to get another one because I'm gonna do the same thing as well. And I'm also like going ghost right here just because you can see that like when you're closer to those specific flea bots or like the fleas, they're actually gonna get closer to you. And oh my gosh, okay, this is a bit okay. This is not gonna be okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. Allies, please. Danny, thank you.
Why is Danny so huge?
This is not good. Okay.
He's a big boy.
He's a big boy. Yeah,
yeah. You'll see a nut over there. You're supposed. It's like 30 seconds out of your way. It's just bad.
Yeah, most of this is just like some more continuing movement and okay. Just didn't register my jump because the game has a bit of a delay every time it tries to read inputs. There's like a certain amount of frames that it takes before the next input is registered, and if you try and like continuously mash, that causes it to like be delayed, especially with like the cutscene dialogues as well. I'm not supposed to do this as Danny, I'm supposed to do this as Timmy. My memory has just gone away.
This is what too much Nicktoons does to somebody. This is your brain on Nicktoons.
You know what? You're actually right. I will say that. All right.
So what Crow's gonna do here is get Danny in a position. He's gonna set up the sort of weird state where Timmy's just holding the nut, and then walk into this cutscene, which is gonna force it out of Timmy's hands, which actually triggers the displacement glitch and gives him a massive object displacement hitbox. And it's gonna make this next clip extremely free. And so the way that the back portion of this level is set up is that in order to get into like Goddard's memory core or whatever, Goddard needs to like, I guess, trust the other Nicktoons. And so you like go through like these weird like memory core dream segments. It's funky.
They're
luckily,
they're segments
they're all
you have to get they had to do to get Gar's trust in order to go into his like a specific part, like I think his audiovisual room in his body. So basically that's what we're supposed to do. But in order for us to go in there, we have to get his trust with Danny, SpongeBob, and Timmy using each of their abilities in like some segments to collect specific like wrenches, I believe. And then but then like right here we can able to just enter into one of them because they're out of bounds. And then okay.
So Timmy's gonna pick up a bomb and then throw it. We want to do that on purpose to cancel displacement glitch. Also, there's just a hole in the wall right there.
There we go.
Boom.
Nice.
That's actually a bit scary because you can actually sometimes soft lock if you try and land in that cutscene. If you go more towards like right here where they're currently on, it will immediately activate this cutscene instead, and you'll just be soft locked with the Fleabot not loading in, which is the next boss. But so that's why like I'm always scared every time I try and do this out of bounds. It's one of the only reasons why I like this part of the level compared to glitchless. But then again, I like this level more because like that out of bounds we did to skip into the trust segment, that saves almost 7 minutes of gameplay. Because this level without this boss is like 10 to 11 minutes. So, and like we just beat it in like almost 5 minutes. So it really saved like 6 minutes of just like continuous gameplay, which is very good, along with like some additional cutscenes, which would have taken quite a bit of time.
All right, Jungle, do you want to explain why this fight sucks?
Yeah, so this fight is rough. You can't do a whole lot of damage to the Fleabot, so Crow's using his SpongeBob's just normal slaps, and I know sometimes he'll use the bubble bomb as well, like he's gonna switch to right now. We have 25 spare lives here. That is completely necessary because as the fight goes on, every time the Fleabot jumps around, it sends out a shockwave, which always hits your opponents because your teammates, because they don't know how to get out of the way. Also, while you're doing damage to him, he still spits out attacks, and he spawns in smaller fleas. So you will see his teammates are getting annihilated right now.
Is this really gonna be a recycle? Okay.
You will take a lot of deaths during this fight. This fight's actually going remarkably well.
I'm surprised because
right now.
I messed up a lot trying to deal damage. All right.
But yeah, normally the Fleabot's hard to pin down, hard to do a lot of damage to at once, and he does a lot of damage back to your team, so you will eat a lot of deaths. Yeah. You burn through specials. Oh, wow.
Wow. How did I recycle this?
Recycle.
What?
That was incredible.
Yo, this game sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not kidding. But literally, recycling this boss is actually much harder just because of like all the enemies, the projectiles, and just losing a bunch of lives in general just from this fight alone. And if you actually run out of lives on this part, you're transported to the very beginning of the level all over again.
Yeah, it sucks. But now we're going into the final boss, so it's gonna this fight's pretty fun because like it's a good use of like all the fundamentals that we talked about, like the movement tech as well as like the partner warps are really critical here. Generally because the AI in jail. Also, shout outs to Dr. Calamitous sitting on 3 pillows to sit in his seat. That is just so funny.
He's a small boy.
He is a peanut. But
he also talks very quiet. Like it's almost hard to hear him.
Poor Tim Curry.
Yeah, the audio mixing in this game.
Wait, Tim Curry? That's Tim Curry?
Yeah, that's Tim Curry.
Oh my god, I did not know that.
And the Wild Thornberries.
How did I not know that?
And he also plays the mastermind in Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights.
Ew.
Nice.
No, I can't say anything because I never played that game. But I'm sure it's a great game.
I haven't played it either, but it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, but again, I'm sure that game's great. Also, shout out to Plankton for being in a fishbowl. He probably stole Sandy's helmet.
Well, not only that, but also just like part of his green sphere just not loading in properly. It's probably something about the near clip plane on the camera, which is very funny.
just like how that ghost portal from the start of the game didn't load in correctly either.
Here we go. Let's hope I don't get Professor Calamitous. Okay,
so there's like a specific like order that you have to do this. You have to we routed out the best way to hit these buttons, which rotate other platforms around, so that we can break all of these sort of barriers here, and then each one of these 4 sections lowers the force field on one of the
oh, that was fast.
the villains in here, and then we whack them, and we have to take down Vlad, Plankton, and Crocker before we can go at Calamitous.
Yeah, and you can also just hit the active enemy like right through like the entire contraption. It's like a massive hitbox.
Yeah, and this is also a frame rate issue right here as well. Game is really struggling in this room just because of how many enemies are loaded in, as well as like the amount of things that are just moving entirely. All right, good, Jimmy. Jimmy's all the way over there, so I'm gonna do like a little character warp to just spawn Timmy nearby and deal more damage, because his cleft ability is more useful when dealing with these enemies with this boss, because of how big their hitbox is. Timmy can just hit them from behind as well. And then okay, so I'm gonna align myself for the next part.
Yeah, you can't really one cycle each of these phases unless you have 2 players or 2 controllers actively pushing buttons. So Crow's just going to be going for 2 cycles on each of these.
If I can, I'm gonna hope, because these enemies can really just screw you over. All right, good Timmy spawn. All right. Gosh dang it, I got hit. Please not Calamitous. Okay, if I don't get shrunk, I should be okay. Gosh dang it, I got shrunk.
Can you not use your freeze glove while shrunk?
No, you can't use your abilities while you're shrunken.
Oh, just fall off, right?
I don't think so. Oh,
I'm a genius.
okay, I never knew about that.
Because if it worked with the gremlins, it should work with the shrink effect.
Well,
that was
found
my
new strategy.
I'm just too good. No, I'm pretty bad at this game.
Yeah, so also with this fight, I have to press down specific button pads. Like there's these 4 button pads, which means like only some of the platforms that I have to move along to hit the next ones. And it's really difficult to do this off memorization. So just to make it fair, I'm just using a chart that gives me like the graph of where I'm supposed to do. So shh, it's not cheating. It's clever thinking.
It's an open note test.
Yes.
All right, now we're gonna hut. Run's almost over. Time's actually going to be coming up decently soon. It's going to be on final hit of Calamitous.
Yeah, so let's go and get ready with time. Eventually, this is probably going to be a 2 cycle. Let's see. Ow, ow, ow. Alright.
He makes some very hilarious noises.
Alright, ready on time? Time!
And time.
Nice.
Wow, it's a 103! Holy
Oh my
nice
gosh,
run.
that is really good. So, world record is 102.09, and that is pretty crazy that I played only like less than 2 minutes from my world record, because that run was really good. Like that was like a really okay run, because I think the only thing I had like a good thing with in this one was the out of bounds in Jellyfish Factory, which because I had to struggle with that in PB. But wow. So yeah, that's the end with Nicktoons Unite. But I'm gonna let you guys enjoy this amazing cutscene. And shout outs to Vlad for just like clipping into the wrong side of the Doomsday Machine. So they're just stopping him, saying that like it's over for you, but Professor Calamitous has the backup because it's still activated.
I love the smiley face on the left side.
3D Timmy. And you just got SpongeBob just continuously like looking around. And then Professor Calamitous is dancing.
Okay. I just want to like kick him off Sparta style into the pit. He's just right there. It just looks so tempting. You know what I mean?
What are we gonna do? Wait a second. Where'd SpongeBob go? What do you do? What happened? He saved
just unplugged it.
He unplugged it by unplugging the back parts of Chibi Robo.
Hey, that's a good game. You're not allowed to talk about that on this.
Honestly, Calamitous is a bigger dork than Jimmy is.
Okay.
Somehow.
Yeah, if such a thing is even possible.
I will say this is not the only time you're actually going to see Calamitous in this marathon. Hint, for what's coming up soon. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So
yeah.
now at this point, all the heroes are going to be transported back into their own worlds because they saved the day. Well, mainly SpongeBob because he actually had the high IQ of knowledge. Take that, Jimmy. Now, what's going to happen here is that they're going to be going away, but in the meantime, I just want to give some shout-outs to some, communities and individual runners. So first, I want to give a shout-out to the Nicktoons speedrunning community. We're not really much of an active community, but we still try and find ways to find strategies in this game and being able to just lower the times for certain categories as quickly as we can. So there's if you can join in the Discord, and it's with the other games as well with this series, so like Nicktoons Unite, this game, Battle for Volcano Island, Attack of the Toy Bots, Globs of Doom, as well as the Nickelodeon kart racer games as well. So if you were really, if you were actually interested about it, or have some interesting questions about some of the tricks, how they work, you can feel free to ask about it, because we just have that knowledge of we don't even know why they even work right here. It's just because of the engine that the developers left it in. So thank you, Blue Tongue Entertainment. Now,
yeah.
Oh wait, first. Eye roll.
Classic.
I spent all their animation budget on that eye roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly,
so now I want to give some shout outs to a Stern Runner. So I want to give a huge shout out to Chiringu and 44100 Hertz. They are the main brains for this game, finding many of the tricks and strategies and the out of bounds. And the movements and all the displacement clips and all that was all on all for them, that they were able to discover more than half a decade ago, and are still being used to this day, which are at least used to help bring this game down as quickly as we can, which is good. Now I want to also give a shout out to I want to give a huge thank you to my commentators for joining in with me to help showcase this game. But also being the reasons why I started running this, just because I saw their NG Plus run, and yeah.
I love how you hesitated calling it game. I found it very funny.
I mean, hey, look, this was their first time working on this game, and I will say this: it has improved with the later ones, but kind of in a good way for us as speedrunners, but not so much in I guess, for the developers. But yeah, that is going to be it with Nicktoons Unite. Also want to give a big thank you to Big Bad Game-A-Thon for letting me be able to showcase this game, because it's my first time ever showing this game in a marathon, which I'm really happy about. But yay. Yeah. And also the voice cast list, and there you can see the male fairy is voiced by James Arnold Taylor, who is also Walker. So there's your fun fact of the day about this game. But yeah, that is gonna be all, at least with this game. But if you want to look forward for some more Nicktoons, stick around, because next run is gonna be another Nicktoons game. But what may it be? Well, you'll have to wait and find out. But other than that, I'm gonna have to end it here. So thank you guys very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your time here at Big Bad Game-A-Thon. See ya,
everybody.
Take care.